Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, the General Authority of the two holy mosques welcomes you all to its Ramadan program. We hope that you stay tuned in for this broadcast, and we ask Allah to accept our righteous deeds and words as well as yours. Today's lesson, inshallah, will focus on some of the rulings related to the fast, the Niyyah, the Suhoor, the Iftar, the intention, the pre-dawn meal, and the meal at the end of the day to break the fast. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that Allah's Messenger, may Allah's salah and salam be upon him, said, "You must not fast the day or two immediately before the beginning of Ramadan. The only exception is a person whose regular practice is to fast certain days, and that practice coincides with the day or two immediately prior to Ramadan. Such a person may still fast according to their regular practice." An example of this is someone who regularly fasts Mondays, and the last or second last day of Sha'ban happens to be a Monday. For such a person, it's permissible to continue with that regular practice of fasting. From this hadith, we understand that the prohibition mentioned is general, and the only type of person exempted is the one whose regular practice of supererogatory fasting coincides with the day or two immediately prior to Ramadan. Islam does not prescribe fasting a day or two immediately prior to the expected beginning of Ramadan as a precautionary measure, so as not to miss any of the days that could potentially be part of Ramadan. Beginning to fast Ramadan is to be based on the prescribed ways of ascertaining that the lunar month of Sha'ban has ended, which will be discussed in the upcoming narrations, inshaAllah. So Ammar ibn Yasir, may Allah be pleased with him, stated, "If someone fasts on the day about which there is doubt, he has indeed disobeyed Abu al-Qasim, i.e. the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. A lunar month may have 29 days at the very least, and 30 days at the very most. The day about which there is doubt, as mentioned in the above hadith, refers to the 30th of Sha'ban in the event that people tried to sight the new moon on the eve of the 30th, but it was obscured from view by clouds or other similar things. Consequently, the following day could possibly be part of Ramadan in reality. However, according to the teachings of Islam, fasting must not begin until either the new moon is seen or Sha'ban is completed as 30 days. These are the two methods for determining when to begin fasting, and they are mentioned in the next hadith. Abdullah ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him and his father, said, "I heard Allah's Messenger, may Allah's salah and salam be upon him, say, when you see the new moon of Ramadan, begin the month of fasting. And when you see the new moon of Shawwal, end the month of fasting. If the new moon is obscured from your view, complete the full number of days that the month could be." And another narration of the same hadith has the wording, "If the new moon is obscured from your view, complete the month as 30 days. An additional narration has the word, complete the number of days as 30. And another narration by Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, has the wording, complete the number of days in Sha'ban as 30. Meaning begin fasting on the day following the night when the new moon is sighted. These narrations show that beginning the month of fasting is to be based on seeing the new moon of Ramadan in the event that it is visible when the 29th day of Sha'ban concludes. If the new moon is not seen, regardless of whether the sky at the time is clear or not, Sha'ban is to be completed as 30 days, and fasting is to begin the day after the 30th. Similar applies to determining the conclusion of Ramadan and beginning of Shawwal. A related aspect of the Sunnah is to be kept in mind is that it was authentically narrated that when the Prophet, may Allah's salah and salam be upon him, would see the new moon of any month in general, he would say the following supplication, Allahumma ahilluhu alayna bil-amni wal-iman was-salamati wal-islam. O Allah, we implore you to show us every new moon while we are in a state of many blessings and continued sound beliefs within our hearts, as well as security and continued outward submission with our limbs. He would then address the new moon and say, "My Lord and your Lord is Allah." And so this remark was mentioned because there were some people during the era of ignorance prior to Islam who would worship the sun and the moon. By making that remark, the Prophet, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, annulled their beliefs and stated that the moon is just like any human in the sense that it is under the control of its Lord Allah and unable to bring about any form of harm or benefit. Abdullah ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, and his father said, people were trying to sight the new moon marking the beginning of Ramadan, and I informed Allah's Messenger, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, that I had seen it. As a result, he himself began the month of fasting, and he instructed the people to begin the month of fasting as well. From this hadith, we understand that beginning the month of fasting can take place based on the sighting reported from just one single person who is known for their integrity for transmitting reliable information. Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him and his father, said, a Bedouin came to the Prophet, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, and said, I saw the new moon marking the beginning of Ramadan. The Prophet, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, asked him, do you testify that there is none worthy of worship except Allah? The man replied, yes. The Prophet, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, further asked, do you testify that Muhammad is Allah's messenger? The man replied, yes. The Prophet, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, then gave the instruction, Bilal announced to the people that they are to begin fasting tomorrow. Hafsa, may Allah be pleased with her, one of the mothers of the people of Iman, narrated that the Prophet, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, said, if a person did not have the intention at some point during the night prior to the arrival of dawn that they would fast the following day, then there is no fasting for that person. Another narration of the hadith contains the wording, there is no fasting for someone who does not intend during the night to fast the following day. We understand from this that a person's fasting is not considered valid without the intention to do so proceeding at some point during the night, which begins once the sun sets. The author of Subul as-Salam mentioned that one of the views held by the scholars, which appears to be strong, is that if a person intends to fast the month of Ramadan and they have that intention at any point during the night before the first day of fasting begins, that suffices as the intention for fasting the entire month. This is because the various individual acts of worship which are part of Ramadan could be considered altogether like one single act of worship. Just like a prayer is one single act of worship and made of various parts, even eating during the night in Ramadan is an act of worship, since it is to be done for the purpose of having the strength to fast during the day. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said, the Prophet, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, once entered my dwelling and asked, do you have anything here to eat? We replied, no. He said, in that case I will fast. Then he came to us on another day, and we told him we were gifted a dish made from dates mixed with some fat and dehydrated milk. He said, bring it for me to see. I had indeed began the day fasting, and then he ate. Among the scholars, there are those who understand this to mean that for non-obligatory fasting, it is permissible to intend to fast even after beginning the day that one wants to fast. And they understand the previous hadith from Hafsa, may Allah be pleased with her, as only applicable to obligatory fasting. The latter portion of the hadith is also understood to mean that if someone is fasting a non-obligatory fast, it is permissible for them to break their fast if they wish to, even without any need or excuse. Sahal ibn Sa'ad, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that Allah's Messenger, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, said, people will continue to remain in a good state so long as they hasten to break their fast. There is also a similar hadith that says, that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased with him, said that the Prophet, may Allah salah and salam be upon him, said, Allah the Almighty and most majestic, stated, the most beloved of my worshipping servants to me are the ones who are keenest in hastening to break their fast. And so we understand from this hadith that it is strongly encouraged to eat something to break one's fast once it has been ascertained that the sun has set completely. Breaking fast right after sunset is a feature that distinguishes the manner of fasting prescribed in Islam, as can be understood from an authentic narration of this hadith, which contains the addition, because the Jews and Christians delay breaking the fast. That is understood to mean delaying until the sky becomes dark, and Allah knows best. Furthermore, eating something to break one's fast right after sunset provides more strength and ease for the body than doing so later. It is not prohibited to delay eating to break one's fast until later in the night, but is more virtuous to comply with this hadith by eating something right after sunset. Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, stated, Allah's Messenger, may Allah's salah and salam be upon him, said, eat at the end of the night just before dawn, because that meal certainly contains blessing. And this is in reference to the suhoor, the pre-dawn meal. And this is another feature that distinguishes the manner of fasting prescribed in Islam. There is an authentic hadith in which the Prophet, may Allah's salah and salam be upon him, stated, a distinction between our fasting and the fasting of those who follow prior scriptures is the meal eaten at the end of the night just before dawn. The blessings referred here include following the sunnah, being distinct from those who follow prior scriptures whose laws were abrogated by Allah, consuming what would provide nourishment and strength for fasting the upcoming day, beginning the upcoming day with additional energy, and being able to give something in charity to any of the needy who may come asking at that time of the night. In another hadith, Salman ibn Amr al-Dabbi, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that Allah's Messenger, may Allah's salah and salam be upon him, said, when one of you breaks their fast, they should do so with dates. If they do not have any dates, they should break their fast with water, since water is purifying. This hadith was graded inauthentic in the copy of Bulugh al-Maram. However, there is an authentic hadith about this topic narrated by Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, said that Allah's Messenger, may Allah's salah and salam be upon him, would break his fast with fresh dates prior to performing the Maghrib prayer. If there were none, he would have dried dates. If there were none, he would drink some mouthfuls of water. And this is mentioned in Sunan Abu Dawood and Jami' al-Tirmidhi and graded Hasan Sahih by Al-Albani. Some of the scholars have mentioned that having something sweet on an empty stomach makes the body more accepting to what is eaten and assists the body in benefiting from it. Furthermore, if water is consumed first when breaking one's fast, that assists the body in benefiting from the food that will be ingested after it, and Allah knows best. This is in addition to the merits that dates and water have, as understood from authentic ahadith, which mention their merits and virtues. Finally, we have a hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, who said, Allah's Messenger, may Allah's salah and salam be upon him, forbade us from wisal, which is to fast consecutive days while deliberately not eating anything in between. A man among the Muslims said, but Messenger of Allah, you fast consecutive days while deliberately not eating anything in between. He replied, which one of you is the same as me in that regard? During the night my Lord certainly provides me with food and drink. However, upon seeing that some of the people still refused to refrain from wisal, and they insisted on doing so along with Allah's Messenger, may Allah's salah and salam be upon him, he fasted while deliberately not eating for one full day along with them. Then for the next full day, and then they saw the new moon marking the beginning of the following month. He then told them, had the new moon been delayed, I would have fasted in this way for even more days with you. That was in order to reprimand them for refusing to desist from wisal after he had prohibited them. As for the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, which one of you is the same as me in that regard? In other words, I am not the same as you in that regard. Or which one of you is the same as me in terms of the level I have with my Lord? It is understood from this that the practice of wisal, as described, i.e. fasting consecutive days while deliberately not eating anything in between, was permitted specifically for Allah's Messenger and no one else. May Allah's salah and salam be upon him. Therefore, a person should start fasting the month of Ramadan based on proof that the month has started, and a person should make an intention to fast Ramadan prior to the day of fasting itself, and that can be done as a general intention at the beginning of the month. Furthermore, a person should partake in the pre-dawn meal to give one strength during the fasting and because there is blessing in it, and hasten the breaking of one's fast once the sun has set. May Allah's salah and salam be upon the Prophet Muhammad, his family and his companions. That concludes our daily program. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.